Hi, this is Jennifer Scrapping Cane. Today I'm sharing an 11 by 8.5 layout. I will be using the Zesty kit that is from Color Rush Studio for the month of June. And I'm going to do a patchwork heart. This is actually a quilt design that you can use with actual fabric. I've done it a few different times with pattern paper, and I always love the end result, but I thought it was perfect to use with this collection. Plus, if the photos you see at the left-hand side are of my sisters, my older sisters, I wasn't born yet, they're wearing outfits that pretty much match these pattern papers almost perfectly. I thought it was really cute to document these photos with this kit. So I am going to piece the heart together and show you how I did that and explain a little bit of how you put it together. So first, you start off with cutting squares, and you can cut them in any size that you want. 2-inch squares probably work the best for a 12 by 12 and will give you a pretty good size heart. This one's a pretty good size heart, but I do want it to fit on an 8.5 by 11. So I made sure that it was a little bit on the smaller scale. So the squares that I cut were 1 3/4, and then I sliced them in half. So you need 20 triangles to complete the heart in total. So what I did is cut them in half and then picked the patterns that I wanted to show on the layout. And I'm just kind of randomly placing them down, just making sure that there's none of the same exact pattern right next to each other or across from each other. So what I mean by across is you can see there's some full squares where it has 4 pieces in it. I want each of those 4 pieces to be different. And then to start it out, I used the ruler to lay down the first, 8 triangles across the middle of the fattest part of the heart. I wanted those to lay flat on the layout. And then I laid the other ones down, matching them up, kind of eyeballing them. Since I've done it so many times, I really didn't use the ruler except for to lay down the very first line. So there you can see it's completely finished and it's all down. I did put it on just a white piece of copy paper, and that was just to hold it together so I could move it off the layout. I'm going to add white paint splatters with acrylic paint and water. And I'm just doing that to dress up the yellow cardstock that I pulled from my stash. This is not included in the kit. But if you received the add-on papers, I believe there is a more solid, either like a checkered board or pattern in that one. So you would have received a paper that you could probably use as the background, or you could use even any of the other ones if you choose. But I didn't want it to be too busy since my heart has so many patterns already on it. And also, I don't really like white cardstock, so I always got to pick a color. So I just went with a solid yellow that matched the collection. And this is more of like a mustard yellow. I'm not sure the name of it. It is a basil, but I didn't look at the name. But it matches perfectly, so it's fine. And again, I'm just adding little white splatters. I didn't want them to be too big or too many of them. You can see them in the close-ups. And I'm going to also do the white paintbrush technique where I drag it across the sides of the layout all the way around the outside of the layout just to give a white paint border, kind of framing the layout but with white. There was something on the cardstock that wasn't stuck down. It was just a little like, I don't even know what it was, but I got it off. So I was trying not to make a mark in the paper. And then I think I'm almost done here. I'll rinse off my brush and put things away. And then I believe I'll do the painting the edges of the paper. I wanted to leave quite a bit of it in just because it wasn't a very long video since I didn't really show the papers that I was using for this particular layout at the beginning. Mainly I pulled in scraps. So I pulled in papers that I had already cut into and anything that I had still left in the kit that was a small, like 4x6 piece, because you don't need a very big piece to cut the triangles out of, or the squares. I guess they're squares first, and then you cut them into triangles. But again, I wanted to do the, you know, the quilted heart because I thought it was cute. And I thought it was perfect for the patchwork of their outfits to go with it. So I'm adding a little bit more white acrylic paint because it was watered down too much, so it wasn't showing up on the edges. So I just added a little more white acrylic paint, and then I'll put my foam brush back in it and swipe it around the edges. This is something I like to do quite a bit, actually. I either do it with black, usually I do it with black ink, but I do it with paint every once in a while, especially if I'm doing white and I'm not adding a lot of black. I could have done it in black ink on this one because I do add black embroidery floss in the end. So I could have, but I didn't. So, and on this one, I don't add any of the frazzles or ribbons. To me, they were just a little too distracting with all the pattern papers that I added. So I just did the quilted heart and used up a lot of the scraps that I had left over. And then a couple of foam pieces for my title. And I will bring in flatback pearls at the end. And that was just something from my stash that's not included in the kit either. So here I'm going to lay the heart down. The acrylic paint is now dry. And I'm placing the heart more to the right than the left because this photo has a little bit of blank space in it. So I want to lay that one there. And then my older sister is sitting on the floor, so I wanted to just leave that one in. And both of these photos are a little on the blurry side. I'm not sure why, because my grandpa took them, but they were actually originally slides, and I had them printed out a few years ago. I did add a flower cluster to the bottom of the happiness foam piece, and then I'm going to attach that down for my title. I'm going to bring in some black foam alphas from my stash that are just American Craft Thickers, and I'm going to put Sister right above happiness, kind of on my sister's pants. It doesn't show up very well. Even in the close-ups, it kind of looks like it blends in. But in real life, you can see where it says Sister on her pants. And again, I just wanted a little title, so I used this little alpha to say Sister. So the title is actually Sister Happiness. And I will add a little bit of personal journaling down at the bottom on the left-hand corner. And that's just the story of that my mom had bought these outfits for my sisters so they could be matching, but they were always dressed alike, even though they're not twins, they're 3 years apart. But they also enjoyed dressing alike when they were little. Now, not so much. But I wanted to get these photos documented. And these photos are 50 years old, so better late than never. And now I'm going to add one of the ephemera flowers and then one of the foam flowers over here to the right hand side. And then I think I add a butterfly up at the top. And I also add another butterfly over by Sister Happiness. I'm not sure if that's the one I'm going to add first. I think that's the one I'm going to add first, and that's the yellow one. And again, I did pop up the wings just a little bit at the top, and that's just so the butterfly looks like it's flying. And this one here is going to go up at the top right-hand side right there above the photo. So those are basically my 3 clusters. So the title cluster, and then the reddish butterfly, and then the flowers. And at first I thought, well, I guess it could be done. But then I decided to go ahead and stitch. I do a very simple stitch. I guess it's a zigzag stitch. And I do kind of make it messy. I don't do it perfectly, and I also leave a little bit of the thread on the top part instead of underneath. Um, and again, I just thought that was a cute little design to it. So I'm going to add one little stitch here, and each of them is stitched differently. They're either, like I did 5 or 6 holes on each one. I changed it up. I didn't do them exactly the same length, but I did do the same stitch. And here's the flat back pearls. And again, these are just from my stash. And I was going to add the blue, but it doesn't really match. Actually, I think I do the blue after all, because when I lay it down, you kind of can't tell the difference of the color of blue. So it's okay. And then black and red. And I think that's going to be it. So again, this is for Color Rush Studios, and I am on their design team. And if you would like to get a subscription, which you do get a discount on your first subscription, which is 10% if you use my name, Jennifer10. And then each kit after that is also discounted if you're a subscription member. And she puts out lovely kits every month, and also adds in lots of extra unique different items each month that are available on the website. On this layout, I did not use any of the extra items, I guess you would say, the unique items. I did use them on the first 2 layouts I did, and I will be using acrylic on the last layout that I have of the month. So I will see you guys back on the 28th with another layout for Color Rush Studios. And I will see you guys in the next video.